Zillua versus Nuke, and these guys are already in the match screen ready to play, and we have Mid-Range Hunter, the return of the good old-fashioned Mid-Range Hunter, and of course what looks like a Cthulhu Warrior from Nuke. So we've already seen Mid-Range Hunter have quite an impact on this tournament already. But Cthulhu Warrior is one we haven't seen much of. And Warrior's in a kind of an interesting state right now because there's a lot of viable options for Warrior when they pick their decks. So Huge Toad and Eagle Hornbow is not a bad keep there. Probably just throw away the Deadly Poison. From Nuke's side of things, I'd like to keep a hold of the Fiery War Axe. The Blood is pretty good too. I was going to say the Disciple of Cthulhu. Savannah Highmane, that is a fantastic draw for Zillua right now. So this card has always been a terror for the Control Warriors. Savannah Highmane is just such a nuisance, and I don't think anything's changed, even with the newest expansion. So we're going to have to see how he can handle Savannah and its power. The Fiery War Axe will deal with the Huge Toad, starting things off, and that is a great pickup for Nuke. It's going to help him relieve the pressure of the board, and is Savannah Highmane number 2. So if 1 was a problem, 2 is just going to be an absolute nightmare. Savannah Nightmare, that's what I'll call him for now. So just an armor up coming from Nuke, not really anything to react to with that Disciple of Cthulhu. A very slow play from Zillua. He doesn't have access to a minion this turn, only hero power and pass, and you do not want to be doing this against Control Warrior. You want to be able to just drop those threats and get him to play as reactively as possible. We're just going to squeeze in some extra damage with that Eagle Hornbow and hit that hero power, but Harrison is going to come down and he's going to take care of that bow. So as things stand, Zillua just has nothing to play, and there's a Houndmaster as well, so just an appalling hand at this point of the game for Zillua. But going into the next few turns, he has Highmane, Call of the Wild, so that is going to have a huge impact. But this may have just given Nuke enough time to build up the resources he needs to start battling these two giant lions. Houndmaster just doesn't seem good here. You don't really want to quick shot kill command at Harrison. That doesn't feel good either. So just gonna go for the quick shot kill command. Oh, that's just brutal. That's a lot of damage resources from the hunter being used to try and fend off the warrior at this point in the game. So Bran is going to make his appearance.
Who knows what
just with an armor up, so double Disciple of Cthulhu can come down next turn, and that is going to help. That's going to help clear Highmane. If you want to clear Highmane, this is how you do it. Double Disciple, or even just Disciple. You can just do Blood, Disciple, and then he can shield slam the hyena if he wants to. Oh no, he can use Bran. Bran's fine. So Bran and the Fiery War Axe is going to be enough to clear all that Hymen. And I spoke about how difficult it is for warriors to deal with Hymens, but they become difficult when the hunter has some presence on board already, and Zillua just didn't. He didn't have the draws to stay on board at all. And Houndmaster as well going to come down, but second Disciple of Cthulhu is going to be able to dispatch of this very easily, in combination with that slime token coming from the blood. What else can he squeeze in? He'll have an additional 4 mana. He looks like he's just going for Twin Emp. Get the extra Emperor down. That's even better. You do lose your Bran. You do lose quite a few things on board. I don't know. Do you go for the double Cthulhu hit, clear the slime? You could even armor up, shield slam the Houndmaster if you want a full board clear. But this just gives you so much board presence. 3 4 6s with taunt. Bran has done his job. He has been a good dwarf. So Call of the Wild is probably going to be the play here. The problem is Call of the Wild doesn't allow Huffer to clear anything. So it might just have to be high main hero power. I don't think Call of the Wild can come down right now. There's just too many ninjas. I mean, 2 ninjas is bad enough, but 3 ninjas. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and let's say Reptile. Against a man-dog hybrid. I think you just have to high main. I don't think you have much choice. If you go for Call of the Wild, you can use the Houndmaster and the Huffer to clear out one of the ninjas.
Quickly.
Yep, high main. It's tough. Because you want to play Call of the Wild, you want to gain the board back with all those animal companions, but it just doesn't line up at all against this play. And even more power coming down on the board for Nuke. He gets to play the Ancient Shield Bearer, line up the Shield Slam perfectly on that high main, and now he can clear everything. There are going to be no threats left at all on the Hunter side of the board, and this is looking like the Food Warriors game right now. One Call of the Wild Huffer can deal with one of the ninjas, but there's still 2 left. So is there any other combination of cards that can be used here? Could have went for the shield block first and see if we could find maybe another shield slam and maybe a weapon. Just armor flying around everywhere. And now Cthulhu is in the hand of Nuke, and he is a 6. Wait, that's not wrong. He's not 6/6. That's an error. We've had twins come down. We've had 10 armor. I think he's around 14, 16. So Infested Wolf just to create some board pressure. The Grub as well. Kill command on the last of the twins, or triplets, as they became from Bran. So is this corrected itself now? No. Well, if he uses Cthulhu, we're about to find out. And with a Doomcaller in hand, he can recycle Cthulhu as well and send him right back to his hand. 12-12. And I think that is all she wrote. Call the Wild, Huffer can deal with the 6/4. But he's still going to take 12 damage to face. Only 2 more damage needed. And with the Disciple of Cthulhu and the Fiery War Axe on top of that, Nuke is going to take game number 1. He's just going to do it with style and buff up that Cthulhu. So Cthulhu Warrior makes its debut into the GosuCup number 8. It's a very convincing win over a mid-range Hunter, which has done pretty well today in this event. So Hunter will return. This is Conquest format. Cthulhu Warrior was quite a surprise. Maybe Nuke is going for the AKA Wonder line. Let's just bring all the Cthulhu decks. I'm bound to have 2. They can only ban 1. That was AKA Wonder's thoughts back at the preliminaries, because they play Conquest with a ban. But here there are no bans, so you can just bring 3 Cthulhu decks and you just have to deal with them. And that also applies for other old gods like N'Zoth and Yogg. And there's a lot of mixed opinions on Yogg.
I will fight with honor.
But another control deck coming from Nuke. Rolling with the N'Zoth Paladin. So 2 different old gods being utilized in control lists from Nuke so far. Hunter comes back for Zillua, and he has the Doomsayer, which was made popular by Mr. Yagut. Doomsayer is not gonna do a tremendous amount in this matchup specifically, because the Paladin is just going to hero power until he feels like he needs to react. Tundra Rhino as well. It's become quite a popular pick. Playing him first. If he sticks on board, you get an instant attack with a high main. Tundra Rhinos were a lot easier to deal with back before the nerfs and the old gods came out. And they were never played, but minions tend to stick to the board a lot easier now without silence being such an issue, or big swing cards that were nerfed in the patch. So decides to throw the entire hand, picks up Harrison Jones and the Pyromancer. So now he just needs the equality to have that full board clear if he needs it. True Silver is a great pickup. He'll be able to deal with some minions in the future. Picks up a second True Silver, so you don't want two. Two is too many. You just want one at the moment, but I'm sure you'll find some use of it. I don't like playing Pyro here. Just go for the hero power. Keep that Pyro for the equality when you need it. Elk is off the top. Doomsayer. I don't see much point in Doomsayer here. I think you just go for the Elk. Get the 3-2 down. Have a little sneaky peek into the Paladin's deck. See what he's got in there. Hopefully win the joust and draw a card.
The end is coming!
I mean, Doomsayer stops Paladin from playing hero power another turn. So what? This doesn't achieve anything. The Elk would have been a lot better. See, now if the Elk was played, you could have coin Houndmastered next turn. So, yeah, I didn't like that line. But now True Silver deals with Leok, and you've lost the momentum already as a hunter. That Doomsayer play being the start of that. And now True Silver will pick off anything that is played from Zillau's hand. So now the Elk seems kind of obvious. You could go for coin into Tundra Rhino. The only issue with that is the only thing that you're going to charge in your hand right now is the Elk. It does play around True Silver Champion. He does need an extra piece of damage. And this does demand to be cleared. But a Silence could come down and deal with it. But Silence is going to have far more impact against a high main. I actually wouldn't be too afraid as a Paladin in this situation. I would have liked to have seen that Spellbreak being kept for high main. High main is a much bigger fish to fry in this matchup. So Eagle Horn Bow is picked up, and now the Eagle Horn Bow can deal with the Spellbreaker. Could play the King's Elk as well. Could play that first. Could go for the Houndmaster, but I'd rather be mana efficient at this point. Oh, Huge Toe doesn't quite match up the Cairn. Bow is going to deal with the Spellbreaker. Tundra Rhino's effectiveness has been eliminated, but Harrison is going to cause terror once again.
That belongs in a museum.
And really slow down this hunter. And with the combination of Humility, Aldo Peacekeeper, the second True Silver Champion, this is a very much an uphill battle for Zillau. Houndmaster is going to allow this Tundra Rhino to be a little bit more useful after being silenced. It's going to allow a clear on the Harrison or push for damage. It goes for the safety of a clear. Very cautious of Aldo Peacekeeper's humilities. And speak of the devil, Aldo Peacekeeper is going to handle Houndmaster. And then next turn, Nukeee's Light Lord to come down and top himself back up and put an 8/8 on the field. So the plays are kind of pretty obvious for Zillau at this point. He's just playing on curve, just dropping what's threatening, kind of getting into that mid-range hunter swing. But now Light Lord just comes down. I could even keep hold of the True Silver. If you could clear the wall without the 1/1s, I suppose you can clear the wall. I don't know, there still can be Hindmaster, they still activate Kill Command. It does make Kill Command a little bit more awkward. So this demands a Kill Command at least. Kill Command Houndmaster will be enough to take out this Light Lord. Oh, he's going to use the bow. Deadly. Then again, you're not expecting too much aggression from this Paladin.
I'll let the dogs out.
So really heavily fighting for board. One equality draw will really upset Zillua. Aldor Peacekeeper once again. Following the rules. Another Hindmaster. Just picking on Hindmaster today. Another Infested Wolf pickup, so Zillua is starting to get the more stickier minions into his hand, but he's not finding that high main. The high main would represent a lot of threat towards Nuke, and it's going to be much tougher to handle. Goes for Unleash the Hound, so I'm going to want to clear up this Aldor. I can imagine Kane is just going to be ignored. He's more of a nuisance than anything, just let him do what he wants. Just try and push as much damage as possible. I like keeping a Toad in hand as well. Use that steady shot, get that extra 2 damage, but you also raise a question in your opponent's hand. What is that? Is that a kill command? Is that a quick shot? Forbidden Healing picked up off the top, so now Nuke can burst heal himself right back to full health. Could he even squeeze in a Humility on that Infested Wolf if he wanted? Or he could save them both for the high mains. All that work that was done by Zillua is being negated by 1 0-cost card. Speak of the devil, high main finally picked up by Zillua. This will allow him to put on a lot of pressure. But as we know, Nuke already has a solid answer to dealing with high main, and just leaving it alone and ignoring it. The Humility will kind of ruin its day. But with next turn from Nuke, we could see some Pyromancer, Humility, Acolyte of Pain business go on. So Kane could pop open the Infested Wolf, get those spiders out. Ooh, Sylvanas. Maybe that changes things. No, I think he's still going for that. Yeah, Pyro, Acolyte, Humility. Get that card draw, clear those 1/1s.
Like to play with fire?
Draws a Doomsayer as well. So now Nuke has what he needs to reset the board. Quick Shot picked up off the top, so Huge Toe will probably come down. And Quick Shot may line up against Bane and allow the Houndmaster to clear it. May even want to clear it with his high main just so he gets those hyenas. But there's another draw coming from Zillua. Going to be wanting to find that second high main. Maybe even a Call of the Wild for next turn. He's fallen so far behind after that heal. And the kind of the back-to-back Aldor Peacekeepers, the Humilities, it's just really keeping Zillua at bay. This control warrior, this control paladin, I keep saying warrior, I'm so used to it. Allows him to take as much time as he needs. Doomsayer, terrible pickup.
Quickly.
Could play Doomsayer to stop a potential in his off turn coming up. Or maybe a Rag. So High Main's job right now is to clear Silver Hand recruits. Edric is picked up, so even more attack reduction find its way to Nuke's hand.
I have no time for games.
I like the Doomsayer setup coming from Nuke here. So he knows that Sylvanas is
Reporting for duty.
gonna die anyway from the Doomsayer, but next turn he sets up N'Zoth. If the Doomsayer does get handled, he gets to use Sylvanas and potentially steal something. But right now there isn't enough damage on board to clear the Doomsayer. So Sylvanas will steal a hyena, at least. And then that hyena will become active in Nuke's turn, and that hyena can clear out the rest of the high main, and then the Zoth can come down, completely filling the board back up. Alucard, on the other hand, he can clear out the Acolyte of Pain.
I wonder.
He can clear the Acolyte of Pain, clear out the 1/1, and then go for the dice roll on the Deadly Shot. If it hits Sylvanas, it could be very frustrating, but no, he's just going to go for the damage. Doomsayer is going to rock. And one of these hyenas is going to return to Nuke's side. And the Zoth is going to follow without a doubt. Try and lock up this game. Oh no, hyena isn't active, sorry. He gains him at the start of his turn, not at the end of Zillau's. So you clear the 2/2, you drop 2 of the deadly shots. Oh, that's one of the good targets. Next target is Sylvanas. Yeah, you need Sylvanas. You need Sylvanas to get cleared by this deadly shot. Otherwise, Doomsayer will just be cleared by what's on board. There we go. So things are working out perfectly. But stampeding Kodo, the Doomsayer Slayer, is going to dispatch of this. And Elise can come down on top of that, putting more power on board. And now Zillua is top decking. He's going to need to find something to keep in this game. But I don't think there's anything he could draw. And Kodo is not going to be it. Call of the Wild would have been the best thing. But even then, there was still a lot of control coming from Nuke. So 2-0 for Nuke so far. And this has kind of been a recurring theme of Monday's Cup. Just everyone kind of leads. Someone leads 2-0. And then they try and fight back. Maybe tie up 2-1. And then there's a 3-1 lead. So let's see if we're keeping to routine. And they're going into the next game. And it's going to be a mage from Nuke.
You asked for it.
And it's not a tempo mage this time. This time it is a freeze mage. And Zillua has gone over to his shaman. Could be the... I think we saw Valiant. So it's probably the Bloodless variation. And this is looking like the Forgotten Torch build of freeze mage. So probably doesn't have Antonidas. This was designed in mind of handling Zulok back before the old god meta. So Koi Novice Engineer does handle the Divine Shield of the Argent Squire. And next turn Nuke is going to line up a hero power to just finish it off. Unless Flame Juggler ruins that plan. Which he does. So now I guess you just ping off the Divine Shield. Could go for Falnos. Could go for Frostbolt as well. Decide to go for Frostbolt just to slow down the Shaman as much as possible.
Did you bring some fish?
And very nice totem picked up by Tuskar, but answered with the Forgotten Torch, sending the bigger version to his deck. He wants to cycle these torches as fast as possible, so he gets additional fireballs in his deck. And that's why Antonidas doesn't really find a place in his deck usually, because Forgotten Torches do what Antonidas does for you and just generates fireballs. Just a barrier for this turn. There is a Frost Nova to slow things down. That is 8 health from the armor. And what is in play right now will soak up that entire secret. But it does slow things down a little bit. And what Nuke is going to want to pick up is a Doomsayer. But Zillua does have that Hex waiting. So Blizzard will probably be one of his best answers in the future. But if he doesn't pick up a Doomsayer this turn coming up, I can imagine he's just going to Frost Nova the board anyway. Zillua is going to commit more to the board at this point. So a full board right now from Zillua. So if there's any crazed alchemist tech in there to deal with Doomsayers, not that there's one drawn, he won't be able to do it. And Crossover comes down with the Loot Hoarder to try and dig deeper into that deck. Looks like Flame Strike is going to be an answer he'll want to pick up very soon. So could see a Lightning Storm. I doubt it though. If he just wants to clear out that 2-1 and protect. Well, he's protected by the Feral Wall, so he doesn't really need to. He can just pass here. He doesn't want to overload himself. Especially if he's plans to use Fire Elemental next turn. It deals with the Healing Totem, that Blizzard, so at least he's not going to have those minions healed up anymore. But Fire Elemental with the Tunnel Trog is going to create a lot of problems. Nuke finds an Ice Block, so he does find some protection. But now the Roaring Torch here, the Fireball, might have needed to be used on this Fire Elemental. Frost Nova picked up by the Arcane Intellect. He could have went for Arcane Intellect, Ice Block, Ice Lance on the 6/5 if he wanted to slow him down. So last Frost Nova used, no Doomsayers in sight. Gonna go for the Ice Lance on that Fire Elemental. Oh no, he's going for the Trog. I would have considered maybe on the Fire Elemental, so you can ping it next turn. But I guess there's the big problem of Healing Totem.
There is a lot at stake.
So once a guaranteed clear. And there he is, Healing Totem. So Healing Totem would have ruined everything if he had done what I was going to suggest. So good on you, Nuke. You're a better player than me. Very awkward turn from Nuke. Ice Barrier, Roaring Torch. So Roaring Torch... Well, Roaring Torch, the problem is this doesn't win him the game. He needs to pick up Flame Strike now. Flame Strike is one of his only outs. So now he can use an Argent Squire to clear out the Acolyte of Pain. Does he have enough damage to pop the block first? That's something to consider. So yeah, 8, 10. Yeah, so he's got enough damage to pop the block. If he uses an Argent Squire, he could build up a space on his board to use a hero power and buff his totals even further. Leaving him on 1 health. This lines up absolutely perfectly. And we'll see if Nuke draws anything to keep him in this game. And that is not going to be it. So Zillua does take a game with his Shaman. The Freeze Mage will have to fight again to get to the next round. And let there be light. I've turned the lights on to make things a little brighter in here. So now Freeze Mage must line up against... So the Shaman's been defeated. He's got the Mid-Range Hunter, that's for sure. So the Freeze Mage needs to beat the Mid-Range Hunter. And I think there's one more deck we haven't seen just yet. So Freeze Mage does have some work to do. And Freeze Mage versus Mid-Range Hunter is not a matchup I've seen in quite some time. If the mid-range hunter can stick to the board very early, it can be very hard for the freeze mage to stop the damage output of the steady shot going into the mid game.
Versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
So Zulok is going to be queued up first, saving that mid-range hunter for later. So this matchup can be pretty difficult for freeze mage, without the board freezes, the doomsayers. But this variation with the roaring torches makes it a little bit easier because you can start using roaring torches on minions. And that slows down Zulok, but things are looking pretty good so far for Zillua. He's got a nice solid curve. Nuke does pick up a Doomsayer. He does have a Blizzard as well, so now he just needs to find that Frost Nova. We'll have to see if Zillua has the Crazed Alchemist tech to deal with the Doomsayers. The Doomsayers are not just for Freeze Mage anymore. We've seen them in Paladin, we've seen them in Hunter. Priest has started using them, so it's become a very wide used card within the metagame. And there we go, Forgotten Torch deals with some of the early pressure of Zulok. Now we'll probably just see Direwolf Alpha with the Argent Squire. You can go for the Void Walker as well. But the Argent Squire is a little bit stickier. I might have actually preferred the Argent Squire later, when you're expecting stuff like Blizzards and you're expecting stuff like Flame Strikes. But there's an Intellect. Frostbolt is picked up, so now the Direwolf can be dealt with. But still, there's a lot of pressure coming from Zillua. Gonna drop Brand this turn, probably with the Possessed Villager, to create some more stickiness on the board and allow kind of Doomsayers, Frost Nova, or Blizzards of the future to be a bit more lackluster.
Why do you call?
Yep, and he goes with that play. And again, just pushes damage. So a very good start here for Zillua. And the power of Mad Scientist is no longer here to just get a 2-2 on board to help fight the Zulok off. And of course find the secrets. Very slow response here from Zillua. Argus picked up along with the Abusive. So now the Argus could come down on the Flame Imp and the Squire. Makes Squire even more of a threat, gaining that attack buff. Puts the Imp out of ping range for next turn. And the Possessed Villager will still be a durable threat. Could even squeeze in the Abusive. But it looks like he's just going to go for Bran and go for a power boost with a double Abusive Sergeant. 7. Ouch. So trying to find the win next turn if he can. Ice Block can come down. Or Ice Barrier. Wants to play a little bit more riskier. I think I would prefer Barrier overall, but you have to be very conscious of Power Overwhelming, extra Abusive Sergeants, Arguses. So how much damage is on board? 2, 4, 6, 7. Argus will give +4. Let's take it up to 11.
What to do?
There'll be 13 health for Nuke. So if he draws another Abusive or a Power Overwhelming, that's going to be game. I can see Nuke's hesitation, I understand it. He is very respectful of the damage range that Zoo can produce with cards like Abusive Sergeant and Power Overwhelming. The Ice Barrier will be used to try and soak up damage and give him more time to play Ice Block in combination, say, with that Roaring Torch next turn. However, if he just plays Ice Block and he gets popped, he'd just be on 1 health and he's in kind of a tough spot. So just going to test it first. I'm curious of why it was tested with the Squire first. Because if I was going to Argus anyone, Squire and the Villager would be the two-eyed Argus. Maybe Zillua has realized this.
So many possibilities.
Because now if he plays the Argus, where I think he might play it, it just kind of looks a bit silly.
Put this apple on your head. My shield.
He's going to buff those two instead. This does protect Bran from Flame Strike. And it puts him down to 1 health. And that is not the answer he is looking for. Ice Block for 1 more turn can ping off the 2-1. And then pray for the Frost Nova for the Doomsayer Frost Nova combo next turn.
Well played.
Oh, he goes for the he goes for the clear on the Villager and he kills himself. Wasn't quite expecting that. I thought he might just play out the next turn and see what happens. But the game is now tied 2-2. Mid-range Hunter left for Zillua, and Nuke has the Freeze Mage remaining. So that is the inevitable match coming up. Who will decide? We'll go into the round of 8, and then that will lead into the no, this is the round of 8. Sorry. So this round of 8 game will go into the semi-finals next against Leon. And then whoever wins that will go up against Erkan later on. A very close series so far. The Freeze Mage let in a Nuke down a little bit at the moment. He's not finding that win, but maybe he can find it against that mid-range Hunter. We'll have to see. So we're going into the final game when these guys will be going to the semi-finals.
You asked for it.
Let the hunt begin.
So I can throw away the Doomsayer here. Maybe keep the rest. A huge Toad coin into Houndmaster. May want double 2-drops. But if he's running Doomsayer, he's probably not running Flame Juggler or Knife Juggler. So it might be a little harder to get that. On Nuke's side of things, he picks up 2 minions that give him card draw and allow him to fight for board. That's a lot better start than he's had in his previous games. Yeah, he just keeps hold of that. So he's going for the coin Houndmaster or coin Infested Wolf into Houndmaster. And I like that hand. There's no point looking for double 2-drops if you're running Doomsayers. So now Loot Hoarder can lead the charge on Nuke's side of the board, and it does trade into the huge Toad. So might just go for Doomsayer instead and then coin out Infested Wolf next turn. I think that, yeah, we just go for that instead.
The end is coming.
Not quite as effective as a Flame Juggler, for example, but it does do the job. And a very early Ice Block set up by Nuke. Taking the opportunity to set it up while the Doomsayer goes on. There we go, coin into the Wolf, which is more than likely going to get Houndmastered next turn. And no response picked up by Nuke just yet.
I hope you like my
Gonna go for Doomsayer here. Just try and clear out as much as possible of that wall. It doesn't want Zillua to get too much board presence. Freezing Trap picked up. Doesn't have really an impact in this matchup specifically, unless you are willing to lock out an Alex Strasser from attacking. It can find some usage there. Goes for the kill command, so very invested in this wolf.
Wonder.
Yep, he wants this wolf to live. He wants that Houndmaster to come down next turn. I didn't have enough mana for the Kodo, which would have been a lot better. But now the second Doomsayer comes down from Nuke, and Zillua will be able to Kodo this one, clearing the 1-1 first. And all of Nuke's plans with his Freeze Mage have been dealt with so far. So Acolyte of Pain ping, potentially.
I hope you like my invention.
Oh, goes for Novice Engineer Barrier instead. Trying to create as much defenses as possible through those secrets. Deadly Shot picked up, not going to have much impact in this matchup, apart from sniping the Acolyte of Pain or the Alexstrasza, as both Doomsayers have been dealt with so far. And this is where you want to pick up a Flame Strike. But a Loot Hoarder is found instead. Acolyte Ping. Try and draw those cards. He just needs to find a good combination of spells in the next few turns to be able to Alex on 9 and then just burst his opponent down and just stay behind the ice blocks. He has 2 in hand. He has a Pyroblast, so if he gets a Frostbolt or a Fireball, there is potential that Nuke could take this game in the next 4 turns. And it's gonna take Zillua to realize this. The Alex will just be the clear indication that he is in the danger zone once it comes down. We'll have to see how much aggression Zillua is willing to pump into this turn. He has potentially 4 turns to win this game, and it's not hard with a Hunter if you have the right damage output. And looking at the board, we have 10, 15. Squeezing the Eagle Horn Bow as well. That brings up to 18 with a Steady Shot down to 20. We're trying to slow down the card draw instead. Just doing what he can on the board. I'm not really surprised. So buffs up the Wolf outside of Flame Strike range. I like that play. If you go down this line, Falnos Blizzard is going to handle everything but that Wolf, but the Wolf will be frozen, and this does give Nuke time. For next turn, he can drop that Alexstrasza, and then he has 2 draws to find that Fireball. Starts off with the Elk. There's no minions left in Nuke's deck. I've never seen that from a Geist. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So now that gives a lot of information to Zillua. He knows that Alex and Forsen are more than... well, they have to be in Nuke's hand. So now this will make Zillua a bit more scared, and... he knows that next turn, Alex is going to come down. Sets up a freezing trap with a bow. He needs to punch through this ice block as quickly as possible. I'm going to use that freezing trap to recharge his bow and see if he can get it down. But now it is Alexstrasza time. Unless... he is going to go for Forsen first. So you can Alex, but then you can't play Pyro. You can't play Pyroblast next turn, so you can't really Alex just yet.
What to do?
So Intellect first, or you can play Forsen Frostnova. Finds the Flame Strike, finds a Torch. Can use a Torch on the Infested Wolf to try and slow this Hunter down as much as possible. He needs a turn where he's not going to have his block popped. And this is going to be the way to do it. So there's a guarantee of 5 damage coming next turn with the bow and hero power. We know there's Quick Shot as well, so that's 8. And there's a kill command off the top as well, so this block can be popped. And this is your time, Zillua. Yeah, you just have to go for it, man. You need to get this this block popped open so you can set up lethal for next turn. Or just steady shot the next block down. And this is where it becomes really hard for Freeze Mage. The Hunter can usually deal enough damage within the early to mid game that it can be really hard to recover and be able to set up constant blocks. And multitasking for Freeze Mages can be quite difficult, like setting up secrets, clearing minions at the same time, especially with the lack of Mad Scientist in the format anymore. So they're down to 1 health, forced to Ice Block. You could test a trap on a minion with Falnos. If it's freezing, you could then Alex yourself, and then you have an 8/8 on board to be backed up by a Pyroblast and any other potential damage spells you draw. So I like kind of the reverse game plan here. Don't Alex the Hunter, Alex yourself, and just have the 8/8 down. Just used a lot of burst damage to pop that first block. See, the problem with this is you play Forsen, it reduces your hand. Fair enough. But the minions on board clear Forsen, and then Steady Shot pops the block. And then you're forced to Alex yourself anyway. So I prefer Alexing yourself first to gain 15 health, and then putting the Ice Block behind a better health total, instead of it just getting automatically popped open. So yep, Steady Shot. Goodbye Ice Block. Farewell, Forsen. Jaime? Whoa! There we go, called it. So now Jaime comes down, and now you play Alex to heal, but the board can clear Alex. Well, there is. So you're gonna have to Ice Lance as well. So now you need to Alex yourself. Ice Lance the Jaime. Even maybe Ice Lance the Elk if you're afraid to kill command.
I wonder.
Just curious on what he's going to do with the Ice Lancers.
I bring life and darkness.
Let's use a lot of damage resources to keep the board in check. Deadly Shot off the top would have been brutal. But Zillua finds himself a Leok. So Huffer would have been 100 times better. Misha would have been a lot better as well. So now Ping. So Flame Strike still leaves a lot of beasts on board. No more ice blocks to hide behind.
What to do?
There's 18 damage with a Pyroblast. Not quite enough. 9 health will remain. So you need to clear Jaime. So do you clear Jaime? Fireball. Fireball Jaime, clear the wolf. Flame Strike. So things are looking pretty good for Nuke now. He's managed to stabilize. Doomsayer will slow things down though. It may demand Alex hitting the Doomsayer. Unless he draws a more burn spells, he picks up a Fireball. So if he hits face and Pyro. So he has lethal next turn. No, he doesn't. Not just yet. See, if Alex had hit face then, he could have found lethal. I'm not sure why Alex cleared the Doomsayer. Is this, how much damage is this? So this is 7, 11. She's got 12.
What to do?
So we're going to torch Misha. then fireball the face for 7, taking him down to 10. This is a very close game.
Time runs out on me. I wonder.
Don't know what he's considering. He's considering freezing Leok. So Leok plus kill command plus shot will be enough. So now Zillua will probably want to clear the Falnos to make sure that spell power doesn't influence a loss here. But what could spell power realistically do? It brings a fireball up to 7 and brings a frostball up to 4. Brings the Ice Lance up. So Frostbolt Ice Lance is a lethal. So this could be Nuke's last turn. And he picks up the torch off the top. After fighting for so long, Nuke finally finds his victory. And Zillua will be knocked out and Nuke will be going to the semi-finals. That was a really, really tense game from both those players. But well played to both of them. You know, they fought it out, but Nuke ended up being the winner.